Transitioning from summer into fall, but that does not mean our outdoor work is complete. So what should we be doing in our yards to prepare our plants and gardens for fall and winter? Here with all the answers, as usual, is Kate Mapes from the Quad City Botanical Center. Kate, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm happy that you're here. We have a lot of really great stuff to get to today. But let's start with the fact that, yes, we can still be planting flowers.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so summer's over. You enjoyed all of those pretty flowers in your containers.
Yeah.
But you can let them go now. And you can refresh all of those beautiful pots, keep them out, keep them trending by planting flowers now. And our local garden centers have so many great options.
Yeah.
And not just mums, lots of different colors and textures you can mix and match and really make the season shine.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of us really do focus on the mums because it's just kind of the obvious thing that you can plant, but it is nice to hear there are some other options for people.
Yeah, there's a wide color palette, kale, all kinds of different cool things.
Okay, so something else that we should be doing, watering our trees, shrubs, perennials. So we need to be doing that right now.
Yes, as we go into winter, we need to give those plants the water that they need.
Okay.
Because once the ground freezes, they won't be able to soak that up. And this fall has been so dry. Yeah. So water, 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 get the water in the ground, soak down so those plants can store that up for winter.
Okay, that makes actual perfect sense. Yeah, it's something that our meteorologists have been talking about, how dry everything has been. Fertilizing lawn with winterizer. So this is something we're not going to necessarily do right now, but we should be looking ahead. Correct.
For lawns, we're kind of in an in-between time.
Okay.
End of summer, when it's just started to cool down, you probably already put your fall fertilizer. But now you're waiting for the plants to kind of go dormant, the grass to go dormant, and then you're going to give them that winterizer to store up for winter. So kind of there's a very short window between when the grass stops growing and when the ground freezes solid, when it can't absorb those nutrients anymore.
Okay.
So you want to get that on there so that the roots can really grow strong to carry it over until spring.
Okay, and we're talking like a couple weeks here.
Yeah.
Be paying attention.
Yeah, so
November.
Really mid-November, between mid-November and Thanksgiving, you really got to kind of pay attention to your lawn.
Okay, well, a good reminder there. This is kind of where I get a little confused. So cutting back perennials, so when things start to dry out or brown out, that's when we should be cutting things back.
Yeah, that's when you can start because the plant is giving you signals that it is starting to go dormant. It doesn't need the stems, the leaves for nutrients anymore.
Okay. And is this like some of the stuff that you brought today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's two theories of thought for cutting back. For sure, you always want to get rid of anything that's diseased.
Okay.
Leaves, stems, trees, plants, anything that's diseased, you want to get rid of that out of your garden so it doesn't carry over.
Okay.
But your healthy plants, you can either clean them up now, if that's the look that you prefer, or we're really trying to encourage people to leave things until spring.
Okay.
That lightens your workload now, but then it really helps the insects and the animals.
Okay.
They can, so things like berries.
Oh,
so
I
this
see.
is our crab apple.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to trim my crab apple, but that's great for the birds.
I see, okay.
These are cone flowers, so they dry, and then the birds love to eat the seeds.
Really? Amazing.
And then things that have kind of tubular or hollow stems, even your mum plants are great places for insects to lay their eggs to overwinter until next year.
So these are the types of things that we are leaving for animals and insects.
Including your grasses. So your grasses give us great both winter interest and animal and bird and insect housing.
So do you cut your grasses back then?
We do not.
You do not? Okay.
No.
Yeah, because there are so many folks. I was just telling you before the show started how badly I want to plant grasses like this at my house next year. And we have some beautiful ones in the neighborhood, and I always do wonder, like, are they going to cut those down? They grow so tall. But no, these are good to leave.
Correct.
Amazing. Okay, very cool. One thing that I think is super interesting too, I read that because you sent us this information about raking leaves, don't necessarily rake them all up.
No. No, leave the leaves.
Leave the leaves.
You can let them blow against your house. They can get caught in the plants that you're leaving, against a fence. so many insects overwinter in those leaves. And so by leaving them, it can both give them a habitat. Most of the time they break down. Really the only time you have to rake them up, or we encourage you to rake them up, is if they're over the grass and they're so thick that they're gonna smother the grass.
Okay. That makes perfect sense, and I think that's music to a lot of people's ears, you know, because the leaf raking can be kind of a lot. And it does bring up a memory for me when we used to rake all the leaves and put them in the big leaf pile to jump into. I stopped doing it after a certain year because I jumped in and there was just like a giant spider in there. So Kate's right, insects do love the leaves. Okay, and a winter interest. So reading about that, I didn't know right off the bat what that even meant, but this is an important one.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand with leaving the plant. So we talked about the grasses.
Yes.
So something like this is going to give you something to look at as you look out for the winter time. It's got height. It's got the seed heads that have different looks, and you can also target the right shrubs to plant in your yard to have stuff to look at. So this is a beauty berry. It has these beautiful purple berries in the fall. You can leave those through the winter, and they carry their purple pretty long. Things like this. This is a blackberry lily. This has both the berries and the visual of something to look at. And then your hydrangeas. So these guys are going to dry. They're going to kind of just be out there to collect snow and to give you that, just give you something to look at, not just the bare ground.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've talked about a lot of really cool stuff here today, but there are also really great things that are happening at the QC Botanical Center here coming up, because of course it's a great place to go with the entire family, and the Not So Scary Halloween Walk is in its 9th year.
Yeah, this is one of our really cool events where we take people at night into the garden.
That is fun.
We're not usually open at night, so you get to explore. Please bring your flashlight, look around. We've expanded it. We've expanded the pathway, added a carnivorous plant room.
A carnivorous plant room.
Yes.
That is very Halloween and spooky. I love that. Okay, this is great. And this is really for all ages. Again, it is a not so scary Halloween walk. No one's going to jump out at you.
It's I describe it as a haunted house, but for kids. There's no haunted, but you get that same experience of exploring, turning corners, not knowing what's coming next.
That is fun. Very, very fun. And not so far after that, or not so long after that, I should say, is the Winter Lights, which is super popular for everybody. You have a big hand in setting up Winter Lights.
This is my baby.
Yes.
I designed this show all year long.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Fall to me means hanging Christmas lights.
Christmas lights. Means that for a lot of people. I don't think you're alone.
We started last weekend.
Oh my gosh.
So it is so much fun. You get to see the gardens. You get to be part of the hanging the lights and come back and say, I did this. And so if you want to come help, we've got plenty of hours. Yep, you're going to help me hang them.
Yes. So yes, go help Kate, because look how incredible that looks when it's all said and done. If you want to RSVP to the Not So Scary Halloween Walk, they would appreciate it. If you want to learn about other upcoming events and activities at the QC Botanical Center, visit qcgarden.com. Kate, a wealth of information as usual. We could have spent another 10 minutes with you here today, as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well.